Hi everyone, I'm happy to be back with you all today. I am going to do this one today, just using my breath on this one. I'm not planning on using my hair dryer, except to maybe just dry my initial spots of ink on it. This is Yupo by Legion. This is the medium weight, not the heavy weight. If you're going to be using something that blows hot, make sure you get the heavy weight and still don't overdo it, because you'll still get some warping, even though most of it will flatten back out. It's really difficult to paint when your paper is, doing the wave. Right. This is 99% isopropyl alcohol in a little needle nose bottle. And this is Pinata Brass. It's a Jacquard brand alcohol ink, the Pinata line, and brass. I get it in these big bottles because I use so much of it. You can find, I've got a link in the description box below to my Amazon storefront, where I put suggestions for things that I use that you might want to use. I have Pinata Brass and some of the inks that I use, some Yupo. There's a Amazon link to the hair dryer I use. Quite a few different things on there, and there's also some just listed in the description just by themselves if you're only looking for one specific thing. This is 11 by 14, a little bit bigger than what I've been doing lately, but I have a 11 by 14 cradle board, so I wanted to do one this size so that I could possibly mount it on the cradle board. Now I am going to do this one, like I said, just a little bit different. I am going to be blowing on it. I don't really recommend doing this, especially not if you have any kind of lung problems, because you are going to get more alcohol fumes when you do this. I've got a couple of overhead vent fans going in here and a air recirculator, all that going on in here right now. So I'm going to go ahead and do it this way, and I can't use a respirator when I do it this way, obviously, because I can't blow on it. But I do, every now and then, I do like to do one like this, because it does look a little bit different than when you use the dryer. And I'm also going to put down my inks first, and then go back and use the brass and the isopropyl to spread them out. That's when I'll actually start blowing on it to kind of spread it out and kind of get the look and shape that I want. I'm hoping my head doesn't get in the way too badly. I know I did one of these a little while back that it did. I had on a ball cap. I just wasn't thinking that day, and I had on a ball cap that kept blocking the view of what I was doing. And so, and I had several requests to please take off my ball cap the next time. So if my head gets in the way, you're out of luck. I'm not taking it off. So you just have to make do. All right, I have got laid out here. These are all Ranger, Tim Holtz Ranger inks. Wild Plum, Indigo, Stream, and Purple Twilight. I haven't really decided yet if I'm going to use them all. Just going to play it by ear. I probably will end up using them all because I like that color combination together. So, and I am just going to lay down the inks to start with. I'm trying to decide what color to start with. No alcohol, no anything, except just the straight inks. And these are a little darker than what I've done in the past when I've done one like this. So we'll see. But I'm just going to lay them down here and there. And I want to go kind of corner to corner up here. Oh, and the reason that I chose Yupo today is because I do want some of that staining on the paper. When I do one like this, I like to have that staining. It just, to me, add something to it. So this is the indigo next. I think I'll put it out that way. I'm hoping I don't have a lot of trouble with water beading. You will have more trouble with water beading, by the way, when you do them like this, because obviously the moisture in your breath is going to cause you some issues. And but it's also, today it's also raining here, so, or it's getting ready to. It's just all cloudy and yucky right now, getting ready to rain. That's not what I want to do there. This is going to be a very, very pigmented kind of painting, because there's, like I've said before, these colors are a lot darker than some that I've used. Now what I'll do is I'll come back through now with the brass and the alcohol, and you'll see. But there's probably going to be places that I'm going to go ahead and add an extra spot or two of certain colors. Actually, I can pretty much tell you right now I'm going to want more of the purple twilight in there, which I really like this color anyway. Because I want this to come, I'm going to want it to come out this way. So, let's do that up through there. Now there's other ways you can do this. You don't have to slap it on there like I am. You could take a little paintbrush and spread it around, or you can take your dryer and dry it, which I'm going to do right now to get it finished up drying more quickly. All right. Sorry, I get to looking at composition of things and see, I'm wondering if I have enough of that in there. But you don't want to get too much on there to start with, just because then you're just going to end up with too many colors blended together where you don't really want them blended. So I am going to do my best now to not stand up and do this. Maybe I can do it without getting my head in your way. I'm sorry if I'm shaking the tripod there, but I went back and watched the other video right before I started this one to see what all I was doing that was causing a problem for you all. And part of it was I would either lift the paper up to try to keep my head out of the picture, or I would bend down to the paper. So either way, you couldn't see. Alright, so when I put down, I'm going to tell you this before I do it, so I don't have to keep trying to talk and blowing and sucking in big breaths all the time. I'm going to put down like one spot of the pinata brass, and then I'm going to bring the alcohol around the outer edge of it. Wherever I put that spot down, I'm going to put it at the outer edge, because I don't want to leave a hard line of the brass out there. Now if you want those little circles, you know, lines of brass out there, you know, put it wherever. But if you put it on the outer edge, that will help keep that line from forming. Sometimes it does anyway, and sometimes you just have to go back and put a little more alcohol and redo the whole thing. Alright. Roll that around a little there. Get it to spreading a little bit. Alright, so I blew a little too hard back in here, and I blew too much of my ink that way. You can see the water beading. Can you all see that? And sometimes that's fine. It actually kind of adds a little something to it when it does that, but not my favorite look most of the time. And for some reason, the colors that have red in them seem like they are much more likely to do that. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to fix this without having a huge amount of purple twilight down there, because wild plum. No, wait, that was purple twilight. I don't want to have it a super dark edge down here if I can help it. So I just wanted to try and get a dab. That dab didn't go where I wanted it, but let's see if we can make it work. I may not have gotten enough right there. Alright, that'll do. That'll do. Dry that a touch. I am going to use just some low heat for just a second right there. Because it'll dry it faster. And I didn't want it moved a bunch. I just wanted some of it dry, especially the water spots that are getting in there. If you have too much trouble with them, alright, I'm out of paper towels here. I'm tearing off a dirty one. You can take just a little corner of a paper towel and you can kind of dab those little spots and that'll get them out of there. And if it looks really bad, you can rework that spot once you're done. You know, if everything's already dried before you really notice, whatever, you can always come back and rework over it, and you won't have quite as much trouble when you go back over it again, usually. I'm trying to keep that alcohol on the outer edge with no ink in that alcohol that's on the very edge, because I want that smooth, wispy look out there. Lost my paper towel. I'm sorry, this is probably going to end up, I didn't let it dry enough. It's going to probably end up being a long video unless I speed it up when I'm editing some. But I know that most of you do not like me to speed up the videos because you want to see what I'm doing. So you can always just hit that fast forward button and skip through if you don't want to see, you know, all of this mess that I'm doing. Make sure when you're blowing your brass that you pick it up, like you blow right on that to help spread it out some. That makes a big difference. You don't have a glob of it sink down right there. That's another one of the things that's kind of difficult for me to pick up for you all, because I can't get my face down there to blow it really good without getting in your way. Now, if you want it to keep moving, don't stop blowing on it, or don't let your alcohol dry and look at it for too long, because it will stop, it will dry. Alright, you can see I'm getting quite a few little water spots in there. Let's see if I can dry my alcohol a little bit so I can soak them up a little. If your alcohol is dry, you can usually get up those little water beads without too much removing of the ink. If your alcohol is not dry, it will pick up ink and all if you do that. So just be real cautious. Keep that in mind when you're doing something like that. Try not to get too much brass because I'll overwhelm the color in there too much if I do. And I do like to kind of swirl that around a little bit just to help pick up some of the ink from in there. Now you can kind of see this is stained underneath here on the Yupo with that. And I should have been a little more careful as I was putting it down not to let these lines get in, you know, smaller areas get in there. If one is stained too bad and, you know, you just really feel like it looks bad, just, you know, put another little spot of a dark color over it and you can sort of, you know, cover that up. I actually could do that. I could put another spot of brass and alcohol right here and kind of pull it back that way, and that would cover that up. I just can't decide if I want to do that or not. And some of this, you know, you don't have to do immediately. This is stuff you can do as you're working, as you're going along. You know, you can finish the whole thing, and then if you see something you need to fix, just go back and fix it. Just sort of trying to decide which direction, if I want to pull some of that purple up that way, actually. Because I want to blend the purple and that, whatever I used, stream. Sorry, I just bumped my tripod. Now you'll notice I left that edge there, didn't add more alcohol, because I will go back and soften that up. But I wanted to get that kind of blend in there first. I don't want to do it in too big of chunks, because then you don't get as many of the little lines and veins and things from your brass. If you do it in too big bunches. Now I'm letting that sit just a minute, because I don't know if you all can see it or not, but you'll see more and more of it float to the top, and it actually will help you get more of those veins if you can do that. wait just a minute and give it a minute to kind of float up there a little bit. And you could do this on a Lazy Susan too, but I pick mine up so much that it just seems kind of pointless for me, because I'm always picking it up and looking at it from different angles, and you know, I want to, sometimes if I want it to run one way, I pick it up and tilt it. So I have one, I just don't use it. Though there's times that I should. So I'm sorry, I know this draws it out even longer for you all while I'm waiting on that to sit for a minute. But like I said, if you don't want to watch all of that boring stuff, just fast forward through it. I can already tell you I'm probably going to have to put some more something out here, because I need it probably from about, I don't know, somewhere in there. I need it to start coming out a little more than what I put out there. Just don't know what I want to do yet. Actually, I do. I'm going to put just a spot of stream out in here. I'll just do one right there. Another one right here. Well, that was good. Did y'all see that? A little air bubble or something in the tip of my ink busted, and now I've got little polka dots all over the place. That was actually more ink than I meant to come out too. If you just want a tiny bit of ink, you're probably better off to do it with a paintbrush or something, so that you don't get it darker than you intended. But I do want the center of it to kind of be darker than the edges anyway, so I think it'll be okay. Okay, I'm really sorry. I know I'm shaking out to death because I just keep bumping my head on this crazy tripod thing. One of these days I'm going to get a different one, something that I can just sit on my tabletop. I don't have to worry about my head bumping it. I'm not used to trying to stand up and do this either. So I'm trying to get just a little of that swirled over into the other colors, so that I've got a nice soft blend on those edges. This is just a low heat setting, like I said before, just trying to dry it a little bit faster, and it'll get a little of those water beads out of there, the little moisture beads, although you'll still end up with a few. And one thing you want to be really careful of is over mixing, I guess, or, you know, so you don't end up with just a solid color. When I get to the edges of things, I'm trying to be really careful not to overwork those parts, because I don't want to lose my individual colors while I'm getting those fades in there. I'm sorry if I took it out of your all's line of sight. So I've got my brass coming out, so I'm going to try and push it back before it has a chance to dry out there and make that hard edge. Yeah, sorry. Oops, I'm being paged from the other room. I shall return shortly. All right, let's see if I can get started back on this again. I had a pretty good flow going there and then had to stop for so long that I've kind of messed it up. Got out of the zone. Sorry, my glasses are going to end up falling off my face onto the painting before long. Alright. Now this is one thing you might want to consider doing if you do one like this, is instead of going straight from end to end, is to work from the ends toward the center. So that's actually what I'm going to do right now. I just feel like it, I don't know, comes out a little more symmetrical. Not that you need it to be extremely symmetrical or anything, but just seems to work better for me anyway. You can see that purple twilight down here. It gets a lot more of the water beading in it. If you're using this, you know, be sure you shake it up pretty frequently. I try to give it a shake pretty much every time I pick it up, just to, because it does settle so much. I hope I'm keeping this in the shot good enough for you all. It gets pretty difficult to tell. Yep, I'm gonna try and get a few more of those water beads out of there. Can't seem to get my paper to touch the, there we go. Now you can see I blew a little too hard right here. Got a little too much of it back that way. Kind of like the same thing I did on the other end, and I may end up having to put a little more in there. We'll see. I'm going to see if I can pick up some of this. Yeah, what is that? Indigo. Yep, the indigo color. Pulled it down there just a touch. Kind of rolling it around a little bit to get some of that color to come down that way before I start blowing on it. One thing was a good thing probably that I stopped for a little bit. I mean, I keep this room well ventilated, but never hurts to take a break to let your room clear out, just to make sure that you're not getting too many fumes built up in the room anywhere. Trying to figure out how to attack this part since I've got this over in there. Try and pick up a little bit of that stream right there. I don't know if you all probably can't see, but I almost blew all of my brass out of that. And that's kind of a problem. Just where I added a little too much extra alcohol right there to start with. Getting a lot of water beading out there now where I've been blowing on this much. Gonna run out of edges to dab on it with here before too long. So just, you know, keep working your way up towards the middle. You know, fill in any spots you see that need to be filled in. Just don't forget to kind of blend your colors too. Bumped you all again. Sorry. Hope none of you are prone to motion sickness. Trying to get that over there to pick up a little of that. This out here because I want to widen that out just a little bit more. You know, see, this is one reason I don't do videos of doing them like this very often, because it is just the next best thing to impossible to do it to where you all can really see very good what I'm doing. Trying to blow a little of that color back down there. When you get to these center places, one of the best ways to deal with it is to kind of start somewhere in here and pull this stuff out and then pull it out again from out here, rather than starting out here and working your way in. It seems like it really just blends the ink better, a little more smoothly that way. I've got a little mouse in here playing with all my stuff. You all hear all this banging around right now. Sorry about that. I have that trouble sometimes with a little Matty Mouse that comes in and plays. And you can see that ink was really thick right there, and it did not pick it up real good. when that happens, if you keep on getting your alcohol washed over it, it will eventually pick it up. It just takes a little bit more effort sometimes where you've got, you know, a thick spot of ink right there. Let's see, I kind of accidentally, hold on a minute. I've kind of accidentally sort of blocked myself in here again. And it's not that big of a deal. I mean, you can still, you can work it from the middle after you get the edges. I just find it, oops. I just find it seems like it blends a little bit better if I don't do that. When I've got these multiple colors that I'm going to be kind of blending together, because you don't want to overwork your blends. Like I said earlier, you'll just end up with, you know, some shade of purple taking over the whole thing. When I have to go back and do it like this, one of the things I'll do is I will try to be really careful to, you know, make it sort of like you're working a puzzle. You want to fit it together without overlapping it too much anyway. I'm going to overlap it a little bit to blend your colors, but not tremendously. You can see in here I'm not as worried, I'm not worried at all about keeping this really soft wispy edge in here, because I'll be doing it over again anyway, so, because I'll have to go back in here, you know, and keep pulling it out a little bit more. And you can see where you've got these little white spaces in between. You got to you want to be sure to get your ink kind of blown into those spaces. You don't want to go back when you're done and see you've got that in the middle. It can be fixed, but it's just kind of a, you know, aggravating. And then the more you have to mess with it, the more chance you have that you're going to really mess something up instead of just fixing it. Never mess with that. Sorry, I know my head's probably getting in your way right now. So, and I am going to leave this one on real time. I know for those of you who aren't already fast forwarding through it, I know this is kind of a long one when I do it like this, but for those of you who want to, you know, try to see all that you can of this, I'll leave it on real time. And those of you who don't want to see or just want to, you know, catch the highlights here and there, you can always skim through, fast forward it a little bit. Then you can see I've left a pretty hard edge out here that I didn't really want, but I'm hoping as I do this little end right here that I can pick that up. I feel like I'm having more and more trouble with the little water beads. Humidity must be going up in here some. Now I could just spread this on out right here, but there's a really dark spot right here that I want to kind of try and pull up a little bit so I can get a little more color blend up in there. So I'm going to put that down there. to try and pick up a little more of that wild plum color and bring it out a little bit. I'm sorry, I know y'all probably can't see right now. I'm struggling with the little thing right here. Didn't want that little dark spot there. I didn't get it picked up good enough. I'm sorry, everybody. I know I'm going to get complaints about how much this shakes. Just a few minutes back. All right. I keep having to cut everything off and take these breaks for a minute, and I know it doesn't seem like quite as long to you all, but I feel like it's taking me forever on this. That's where I have to keep stopping. But I'm almost there, about to get finished. Smeared that around a little bit, didn't really mean to. Alright. Sorry. The people who don't like to hear me talk ought to be happy with this one, because I can't talk and take these breaths and blow all at the same time. I really hope you all can see this well enough. I felt like I needed a little more of that indigo coming out through there. That or some stream or something to kind of break up this big swath of kind of pink color. Excuse me, I've got a tickle in my throat. I'm sitting here trying to decide if I want to put any of the stream in here or not. Because if I do, it's going to have to be out in here somewhere, and I don't want to pull this out too far out there. No, actually, I think I don't know. I start to say I'll just let it be, but that's one of those things that's probably going to drive me crazy, and I'm going to see it every time I'll look at this and wish that I had gone ahead and done something else to it right there. So, just can't decide what. Yeah, y'all probably just want to skip this part while I'm thinking. I'm sure that's boring. I think I'm going to try the indigo right there instead of the stream. So I think the indigo will blend a little bit better in there. So let's see if I can manage to get out one tiny drop. Not a big bunch of it. Of course. A big bunch of it. My tiny drop was too tiny. do think I like that a little bit better. Of course, I'm a purple lover, so the more purple, the better. See, this is where you have to be careful, because now I feel like it's out of balance over here. And I feel like I need something more in here. Let's just try this. Let's see if we can pull out a little bit of what's already there. I've already done some of my stuff too small down here for me. To me, this end doesn't match this end. I've got bigger sections, which I prefer, down there, and smaller ones up here. But if I go back and start messing with that too much, I'm going to end up blending my colors more than I want. I'm sorry, I know y'all probably can't see anything. Alright. I think I am going to just leave it like that. I still don't feel like this is pulled out enough. But I also don't want to wash out all of this, because obviously the farther you spread it, the less color you're going to have in there. And so I don't want to spread it so far that, you know, I end up with like this entire side super light and then these darker areas over here. I'm just debating on, alright, yeah, I can't leave it alone. Let me see. Yeah, I see a couple of places that I'm going to be fooling with this, and I'm probably going to be mad at myself for doing it, but I'm going to anyway. Alright, I'm going to try and just get a little drop. Where my brush is. This time, I'm just going to use this little liner brush that I have. And just try and get a drop on it. Yeah, or a drop all over my paper. Or my pad there. There we go. So that I can dab a touch of that off. One thing, when you're using your brass a lot, like I have been tonight, you probably want to keep wiping your lid off, or the tip of your bottle if you're using a needle nose bottle. Alright, that's a little better. Now this is bugging me. So now it's the decision of what to put in here that'll blend okay. And I think I'm going to go with indigo there, and the reason is because it's here. And I think that might help balance it out a little better in my eyes. I know a lot of people are saying, don't mess with it, it looks just fine, you're going to ruin it. But I'm not very good at that, at the not messing with it if I'm not happy with it. Because if I'm really not happy with it, I mean, I kind of feel like, why not try to fix it? And if I mess it up more, well, I didn't like it to start with. So it's not that I don't like this one. I do really like this one. Just not happy with just a little bit of it. And that little bit would be enough to drive me nuts. I don't notice imperfections in other people's things very often, but boy, I sure do in my own. Getting a few more of those little water beads off of there. You can see right in here, I think you can because I can't see my camera where I'm standing. Right in here, this little sort of jagged part, that's what those little water beads will do when they dry. And yeah, it's your choice. You can fix it or not fix it, or because I actually think that depending on where it is and how the rest of the painting looks, sometimes they can actually add some interest to it that wasn't there before. And then other times, you know, you just really don't want those there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and try and get some of these out, just because that'll also make some of these bigger sections in here where I've got too much delineation to match up with the other side, and that might help even it out just a touch. Or it might make me mad that I did anything. You don't know till you try. Now it's going to be difficult. Painting's being difficult with me. Alright, I'm quitting before I mess anything up. I am happy with this one. I just love these colors together. That's funny. I mean, as far as like skin tones and things go, the warm colors for makeup and clothes and things tend to be more what I end up having to wear that look better on me anyway. But the cool colors are my favorites. The purples and dark pinks and these, you know, the aqua and I don't know, there's just, I tend to lean more towards these colors. If I were brave enough, I would get my hair done in these colors, but nope, I am not that brave. So, all right, well, this is it for tonight. Today, this evening, I'm not even sure what time it is at this point. You can see all that brass shimmering in there, really, really good on this one. It ended up with a lot of shimmer to it when you can get it angled the right way in the light. So, well, I hope this did not drag on too long for you all. I know this was a fairly long one, and I do hope that you didn't have too much trouble seeing what I was doing. I was trying to keep my head out of the way as much as possible. But that's it, and I hope that that helped you all out a little bit, you know. Those of you who haven't seen my other one where I was just blowing on the inks, you know, hopefully I explained well enough some of what I was doing on this one. Well, y'all, thanks for hanging in there with me, and I will be back real soon with another one. Y'all have a great day. Bye.